I've always been drawn to the warmth of the sun, as winter just isn't for me. It brings a weight that feels too heavy. My quest for sunshine and warmth led me to search for a place within the EU, not just to call home, but also to establish my company, aiming for both lifestyle happiness and smart tax planning. While weighing options like Malta and Ireland, Cyprus clearly shone the brightest, offering both splendid weather and appealing tax advantages. But what finally tipped the scales was the global upheaval caused by COVID-19. The pressure of the COVID-19 restrictions forced us to make a quick decision. We had only a brief glimpse of Cyprus during a 2-hour stop with a cruise ship before, and we liked what we saw. Faced with the need for a swift choice, we decided on Cyprus almost on impulse. Seeking a fresh start, we flew to Cyprus for a week to find an apartment and sort out the logistics. We packed our schedule with 3 apartment viewings in just one day, but one place instantly felt like home. Honestly, it needed a bit of cleaning, but still was okay. Nestled in a beautifully maintained gated community with sea views, just 10 minutes from the sea, it was perfect. Our landlord was incredibly welcoming, showing us where to shop, and even treating us to a traditional Cypriot meal. After a busy week, we returned to Vienna to tie up loose ends, finalize our jobs, and then it was time to say, bye-bye, Austria. Back in Cyprus, we reveled in the relaxed COVID-19 measures and the warmth of the local community. Our adventure in Cyprus began right at the airport, and it wasn't long before we learned a few lessons about the local pace of life. While I handled the paperwork at the car rental, my husband went to grab a coffee. Simple enough, right? I finished up quickly but then found that he had vanished. After asking around, I was pointed to a nearby coffee shop. Minutes turned into a half hour, and just when I started to wonder if he'd taken a flight back home, there he was. It turned out, despite being the only customer, the coffee took its sweet time being prepared. It was our first taste, quite literally, of the laid-back rhythm that defines Cyprus. Another thing I learned right when I arrived at the airport truly surprised me. With 5 suitcases in tow, and needing to search for my husband, I faced a dilemma: what to do with all our luggage. The man from the car rental place noticed my concern and reassured me with a smile. You can leave your suitcases here, nothing gets stolen in Cyprus. A bit skeptical, I left them there as I went to find my husband. When I returned, I was relieved and a bit amazed to find all my suitcases exactly where I'd left them. That was my first real introduction to the trust and safety that Cyprus offers. Let's talk about the locals here in Cyprus. They're incredibly friendly and quite open to foreigners. Not long ago, Cyprus was a quaint fishing village island, and the influx of foreigners, attracted by tax benefits, has brought prosperity. More recently, due to nearby conflicts in Ukraine and Israel, many have chosen to seek refuge on this peaceful island. Understandably, this has driven housing prices up, creating a bit of a bubble in the market. If you're deciding where to live, Limassol might catch your eye with its large Russian community. Paphos, on the other hand, tends to attract a lot of Germans and Brits, while Larnaca is more of a mix. English is the main language spoken here, thanks to the British colonial legacy, which also left us with English-style electrical sockets and driving on the left. In Limassol, which is the second largest city in Cyprus, expect to pay around €3,000 per month for a long-term rental just a short distance from the center, in the second row from the beach. The city boasts a vibrant port area with numerous local eateries and shops, making it a lively hub of activity. Limassol also offers a mall where you can find most things you might need, including some well-known brands. However, set your expectations accordingly. Cyprus is not exactly a shopper's paradise. For instance, I encountered the smallest Zara store I've ever seen right here in Cyprus. For a larger shopping experience, the Mall of Cyprus in Nicosia offers more variety. Limassol has its own shopping street, but unfortunately, it has seen better days, especially during COVID. Many stores are now empty, and the walls are covered in graffiti. Limassol, often dubbed Little Russia, is a city where cultural diversity is palpable. A significant Russian community has made its mark here, driving up apartment prices along the coast to levels beyond what many locals can afford, pushing them to live further afield. A visit to a local supermarket is more likely to immerse you in Russian than any other language. The influence extends to dining as well. In a Russian bakery here, we once paid €24 for just one piece of cherry cake. Yes, it was a large slice, but the price was a clear indication of the premium lifestyle that has become synonymous with Limassol. Something else to bear in mind about Limassol: the choice of modern gyms is limited. Many gyms are not as modern or inviting as you might expect, particularly when it comes to air conditioning. This can be a real challenge during the hot summer months when temperatures soar to 40 degrees Celsius. The lack of proper cooling in these spaces can make a workout more of an endurance test against the heat rather than just against your own limits. The laid-back nature of Cypriots extends into the professional realm as well. If you're expecting a handyman, it's not uncommon for them to show up hours late, the next day, or perhaps even never. But like everything else in Cyprus, you find yourself getting used to this pace. It becomes part of the charm of island life, where time seems to move a little differently. While we were making our apartment more homely, we experienced a rather unexpected encounter: cockroaches. These persistent critters were particularly fond of sneaking out from behind the bathroom cabinet. Fortunately, inventive locals, or should I say, savvy expatriates in Cyprus, had a ready solution. We simply sprinkled some insecticide under the cabinet and sealed the entire unit almost airtight with silicone. Just like that, problem solved. Let's talk a bit about the other cities. Paphos offers a smaller, more village-like atmosphere compared to Limassol, with its own charming harbour and beautiful beach promenade. Meanwhile, Larnaca, despite its beautiful beaches and vibrant city centre, didn't have the right apartment near the beach for us. It's also under the flight path of the airport, which brings its own set of pros and cons. What is it like to live here now? Life here is full of small kindnesses. In supermarkets, if you forget to weigh your fruit or can't find an item, cashiers don't just tell you what to do, they walk with you and help you find everything you need. It's these moments of genuine helpfulness that truly make Cyprus feel like home. Even though learning Greek might not seem necessary since everyone speaks English, you'll find it's a different story when dealing with government offices. It can get tricky with all forms and signs in Greek. My tip? It's usually best to send someone who can navigate these waters for you, like a lawyer, to handle bureaucratic matters efficiently. While most people in Cyprus speak English, making it easy for tourists and expats to communicate, there's a curious gap in technology usage. Many locals, particularly the older generation, do not use smartphones, which means no access to navigation apps. Many shops don't have websites, they use Facebook pages instead. Getting around in Cyprus typically requires a car, which can be surprisingly expensive here. And if you're thinking of driving to the northern part of the island, remember, rental cars are not allowed across the border, and your own vehicle will need additional insurance at the checkpoint. The roads to some of these beautiful beaches can be rough, full of potholes, making an SUV a practical choice. Interestingly, despite the rugged terrain, it's common to see high-end cars like Porsches and Bentleys, more so than in many other countries I've visited. Cruising in a convertible is absolutely delightful in the spring, but come summer, it gets swelteringly hot. The streets here are narrow, and when it comes to parking, it seems anything goes. Locals often park on sidewalks or even in the second or third lane, simply turning on their hazard lights, a local tip if you're ever in a bind. Getting a taxi can be a whole other adventure. Don't expect to hail a cab during rush hours, like noon, because you might end up waiting for an hour. There's no Uber here, and even pre-booking a taxi offers no guarantees. Due to multiple streets having the same name, drivers might struggle to find your location, or they might end up picking up the wrong passengers entirely. A quick word of advice about navigating in Cyprus: don't rely solely on your navigation system. The island isn't as well mapped on Google Maps as you might expect, and you might find yourself being directed onto a field path, cutting through forests and meadows. It's a scenic detour, but not always the quickest route. Speaking of cars, renting a vehicle in Cyprus can be quite the adventure. Some of the rental cars might best be described as fixer-uppers, with hours literally held together by cable ties. But there's a silver lining. Local rental agencies aren't too fussy if you return the car with a new scratch or two. It's all part of the laid-back Cypriot approach. Cyprus is a paradise for those with a sweet tooth. A local specialty not to be missed is a unique twist on the cinnamon roll, filled instead with tahini, a true calorie bomb but utterly delicious. The savory side of Cypriot cuisine is equally tempting. The staple here is undoubtedly souvlaki, served with hummus, pita, and often fries. And if you order a pita wrap, don't be surprised to find that fries are already tucked inside. It's the Cypriot way. We quickly got used to it, though admittedly, this rich and hearty food did lead to a bit of weight gain during our stay. The supermarkets in Cyprus are impressively stocked, offering a wide array of European products. You'll find an array of sugar substitutes and milk alternatives. However, there are still some gaps and you might end up searching very long if you need a specific product. Ordering from Amazon? Prepare for patience. Deliveries can take weeks, and it's a toss-up whether they'll arrive at all. When they do, don't expect home delivery, you'll likely need to fetch your parcel from the post office. During COVID, the queues at the post office stretched out the door and around the block. But here's a local tip. There's always a coffee shop nearby to make the wait bearable. Once you finally reach the counter, it's a treasure hunt to find your package amid the chaos. Shopping in Cyprus can be a slow affair, especially at the deli counter. Cypriots love their sausage cut into 5mm thick slices, which, unless you specify otherwise, are sliced at a leisurely pace, leading to lengthy waits. But not everything is slow or expensive. Dairy products, olives, sausage, and hummus are surprisingly affordable, although imported goods will cost you. Even though everything moves at a slower pace in Cyprus compared to what many of us are used to, you quickly find yourself adapting to and even embracing this more relaxed lifestyle. It's almost as if Cyprus gently coaxes you to decelerate, offering a respite from the fast-paced world. However, don't let this laid-back attitude fool you when it comes to driving. On the roads, Cypriots switch gears, exhibiting a surprisingly brisk and bustling driving style. Cyprus is known for its sunny climate, but it does have a winter season in January and February with heavy rains and temperatures dipping to around 12 degrees Celsius. Despite the mild winter by northern standards, the homes here are poorly insulated, relying mostly on air conditioning for warmth. We found ourselves unexpectedly shopping for warmer clothes. Cat lovers would find a paradise here in Cyprus, where cats are a beloved part of the community, originally introduced to control the snake population. Nowadays, these graceful creatures are more likely to be seen chasing down offerings of dry food provided by dedicated volunteers, locals, and retirees who lovingly care for them. The eastern part of Cyprus, including areas like Ayia Napa, Protaras, and Famagusta, is home to some of the island's most stunning beaches. During peak season, the waters rival the hues of the Caribbean. However, this beauty comes with a crowd. Tourist numbers soar, and places like Nissi Beach, Konos Bay and Makronissos can get incredibly busy. On peak days, the popular beaches in Cyprus can get so crowded that finding a parking place or even a spot for your towel becomes a challenge. For those seeking tranquility, Ayia Thekla Beach is a lesser-known gem that offers plenty of parking and space to relax without the crowds. The beautiful sands and calmer atmosphere make it an ideal spot for a peaceful day by the sea. But also the cities of Limassol, Paphos, and Larnaca each feature extensive beach promenades that are perfect not only for leisurely strolls but also for swimming. These promenades are well equipped with free shower facilities and restrooms, enhancing the comfort of your beach day. Additionally, you can rent a sunbed and umbrella for the day at an almost unbeatable price of just €2.5 each. There's a certain level of discipline maintained on these beaches, which ensures a pleasant experience for everyone. You won't find overly loud vacationers or people who think it's a good idea to bring their subwoofers to the beach. This respect for the shared space makes these beaches a haven for those looking to relax and enjoy the serene environment. Cyprus is a unique island, divided into two distinct parts, the Greek Cypriot South and the Turkish-Cypriot North. The northern area is considered by many as occupied territory. In the Greek sector, there are two airports. Paphos Airport, a smaller hub, offers regular flights during the summer months to destinations including Germany and Austria. Larnaca Airport, the larger one, is the main gateway for most international flights. Over in the Turkish part, near Nicosia, or Lefkosa, as it's known in Turkish, there's an airport that primarily serves flights to and from Turkey. A word to the wise when heading to any of these airports: relying solely on your navigation device might lead you astray, potentially landing you in the middle of nowhere, and doubling your travel time. When traveling in northern Cyprus, it's important to be aware that South Cypriot mobile network operators do not have coverage in this area. As a result, you won't have any reception, which also means your mobile phone's GPS navigation won't function. When planning to cross the border in Nicosia, keep in mind that only individuals holding a European passport are permitted to cross. It's important to note that the northern part of Cyprus is not recognized as part of the European Union. The tax advantages many seek in Cyprus apply only to the southern, Greek Cypriot part, which is under internationally recognized government control. There are several border crossings between the two parts of the island. One particularly accessible crossing is right in the heart of Nicosia's pedestrian zone, where you can literally walk from one side to the other. Crossing into the northern part of Cyprus, you'll immediately notice a dramatic shift in your surroundings. Within just a few meters, the food, music, and ambience transition to a distinctly oriental flavor. This change is palpable and adds an exotic touch to the experience. During our visit in the summer months, the heat was intense, with temperatures soaring above 40 degrees Celsius. Thankfully, the pedestrian zone was dotted with numerous ice cream shops, allowing us to cool off every few meters. Once across the border, you'll find yourself in a vibrant Turkish market area. This place buzzes with activity, offering an array of counterfeit goods and authentic Turkish delicacies. It's a stark contrast to the Greek side, offering a unique glimpse into the local culture and commerce. Pharmacies in the Turkish part of Cyprus stock products that you might not find in the Greek part, often at much more affordable prices. It's an interesting aspect of the north, where certain goods can be significantly cheaper, making it worth a visit for some. Be aware that when you're returning to the southern part of Cyprus, your car will routinely be searched at the border. Authorities are primarily looking for cigarettes and alcohol, so it's wise to keep that in mind to avoid any delays or issues. Another tip if you're planning to stay overnight, always read hotel reviews before booking. In many hotels in the north, smoking inside the hotel rooms is still allowed. This could be a concern if you prefer a non-smoking environment, so it's best to check guest feedback to ensure the hotel meets your preferences. When traveling to northern Cyprus, make sure to visit Gurn, also known as Kyrenia. It's a quaint little village with a charming downtown area. Despite its size, Gurn is bustling with small shops offering a range of products, including some counterfeit items. The atmosphere is delightful, making it a perfect spot to soak in the local culture and enjoy the unique vibe of the area. Some of the most beautiful beaches on the island are located along the eastern coast and in the northern part of Cyprus. A particularly stunning beach is found right in front of the ghost town Varosha in Famagusta. Stretching over 400 meters, this beach segment arguably offers the warmest and most beautiful waters I've encountered on the island. The water is a striking shade of turquoise, making it a must-visit for any beach lover. While the beach is enchanting, the half-collapsed buildings in the background add a somewhat eerie touch to your visit. It's said that tours are available through the decaying part of the town, but the spooky ambience made us decide against it. However, Famagusta itself is worth a quick visit. The ancient ruins are inviting for a stroll. Just try to avoid the peak heat of 40 degrees Celsius outside. Like the southern part, northern Cyprus is also experiencing a surge in foreigners moving in, drawn by the rapidly developing real estate market. Developers are actively constructing attractive properties, including beachfront homes, which are available at prices not seen in the southern part of the island. However, buyers should exercise caution. Many of these appealing properties do not come with a title deed, meaning their ownership rights are unclear. This complication is primarily due to the region's status as occupied territory. Investing in such properties can be risky, as the lack of clear ownership can lead to legal challenges down the line. However, the unpredictability of life struck when strict COVID measures were suddenly enforced in both the northern and southern parts of Cyprus. The freedom to roam was curtailed, requiring us to send an SMS just to step outside. With 1,000 police officers recruited to oversee these rules, fines were a real risk for any slip-ups. The strict regulations during the pandemic prompted us to explore other countries temporarily, seeking a bit more freedom and a change of scenery. Yet, we always find ourselves drawn back to the unique charm and warmth of Cyprus. Thanks for joining me on this journey through Cyprus. Stay tuned for my next video, where we'll explore the sunny shores and vibrant culture of Florida. See you there!